Hey, I'm Max, and I'm going to show you how to build an action in Basedash. So in this example, we're going to be building an action that suspends a user. And so you'll be able to type in a user's ID and then hit suspend. And what that's going to do is call an internal API, which is going to lock the user's account and then send them an email. Super simple. What's even cooler, though, is that if you have a collection page set up in Basedash already, we'll have it also set up so that it'll show up in line along with the record, and you'll be able to directly suspend that user just like that. Super easy. All right, let's get to it. We'll go new action and hook it up with a new API. In this case, we'll do our internal API. We'll give it the base URL for our API. And then we can also add a header. So in this case, we'll do an authorization header. Okay. We can connect our API now, and then we can hook up our actions. We're going to do a post request on our API. In this case, it's going to be at users and then the user ID /suspend. We don't know what to put here for the user ID yet, so let's just hard code it as 1. We can give it a name. And we can also set the name as the button text here to suspend a user for when you're running the action. And then what we can do is associate this action with a table. In this case, we'll do the comment table. And what that lets us do is trigger the action from the collection page that we just created. Okay, next thing we can do is create a user input. In this case, we're going to be using the user ID to run the action. And what we can do is set a pre-fill text so that this gets automatically filled in so the user doesn't have to run it themselves. We can see these are all the attributes we can pull from. Let's take the comment.user and use that as a pre-fill text. And then what we can do is take this user input we just created and stick this into the path of our endpoint. Great, that looks good to me. And then this is what the preview is going to look like. And you can see the curl request right here. As soon as we type in an ID, we can see that it updates the path of what it's going to hit for the endpoint. This looks good to me, so let's hit save. And now we have our action, and we can also see that it shows up right here inside of the collection page we just created and pre-fills the value based on the user's ID. So that's how you set up an action in Basedash. It's super easy to do, and I hope that gave you some inspiration as to the kinds of actions you can set up. In this case, we used our internal API, but you can also use third-party APIs like Stripe, Zendesk, HubSpot, anything like that, and they'll work just fine. We're excited to see what kinds of actions you set up.